was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Be like a horse with blinkers.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Ayaka. I am from Tanagulu High School. I live in Philippi and I'm doing grade 12.
My name is the sister. I stay in Guguletu. I'm in grade 10 and I'm 18 years old.
My name is Nabula. I live in Langa Township, where high teenage pregnancy is located. And I think that's a topic we'll be covering today, and I'm also 18 years old.
My name is Kangilani. I live in Guguletu. I'm in grade 11. I'm 18 years old.
My name is Theo. I live at Langa. I'm doing grade 12. I'm 18 years old.
My name is Melissa. I'm in grade 11. I'm 18 years old. I live in Guguletu.
We actually talk a lot about sex, but when it comes to us talking to a different age group about sex, it's a different matter. We don't actually approach the topic of sex at all.
I agree on that, because when we talk about sex to our group, our age group, it's much more fun because that's where most of the dating stuff happens, and then we get boyfriends and stuff. But when you talk to an elder person or a younger person, it's kind of like you don't want to talk to a younger person because you're afraid to think how they're going to look at you. And when you talk to an older person, they're going to like want to tell you, no, you're going to get pregnant, you know, you're going to get this and all this stuff. So that's why I think it's better to talk to your own age group about sex.
It's easier.
Yes.
Yeah, it is easier, because what makes it easy is that you don't hold yourself back when you're talking about with your friend. What like you're basically doing is that you try by all means to impress your friends about how many times you had sex, how many people you had sex with. So that's why like it gets kind of easy, because it's more like having a status about having sex and stuff. Yes.
It's also like you understand them and then you understand how they feel, because they're also going like
through the same stuff. Yeah.
So like it's very easy talking to them.
And sometimes parents are scared if their daughters will get pregnant or have STIs and AIDS and all this stuff.
Yes, you say that you understand, because when you talk with your age group, you are like you're the same in the same level. But when you talk with a younger person, like you are afraid that like you are afraid that he or she will do something wrong, or how he or he will look at you. And when you talk to the elder person, it's very hard, because you will go through, like he will tell you the wrong stuff, all of that, and you know. So if you talk with your age group, it's so easy because you're on the same level.
That's what you're saying. Kanti, okay, tell me something. You said it's about status and how people will look at you if you had sex with how many people, how many times.
It basically depends. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
Basically depends, because for guys it's quite a good status, but for girls it's not. Because like when a guy had sex, too many sex with too many people, it tend to be like the guy is a player of which it's some sort of a cool thing. But the thing is, for girls it's a different story, because girls, they get, when they had too much sex, or when they're sexually active, or when they had, you see, they'll be called names, they'll be taken as if like they're cheap, you see. So, but the thing is the main problem with us South African teenagers is not about us talking about sex, it's about us practicing unsafe sex.
Yeah, it is. Because the practice of unsafe sex is very common amongst us teenagers, because we actually, well, it comes to the thing that a guy and girl, so say we're in a relationship, dating and stuff, so I'm dating you, so we get to the position where we're like about to have sex. You will never find a teenage girl who will say a condom. That always comes with a guy. So a guy is going to decide whether they want to take the condom or not. The girl is always like obeying whatever the guy says.
But sometimes it happens that the girl does want to use the condom, but the guy says, no, I love you, let's just do it without one.
And the girl always listens, right?
And they always listen. But it's supposed to be if you want to use it or not. So the thing is in both of you. But if you're going to listen, if the guy says, no, let's not use it, then let's stop. Let's not do it at all.
Wait guys, it seems like we're talking only about teenagers. Teenagers are not the only, if like I would define teenage age for you, or teenage people who are at the ages of 13 and 19, right? But we have children under the age of 12 practicing sex. Are you aware of those cases?
Yes, we are.
Now, if I may ask, what do you think is the reason of them practicing sex? Because it's not like they're in any puberty stage or what.
I actually think media is a factor that's affecting everything. So what a child thinks, and if you see it at our homes, our parents don't actually look at the age restriction it shows. So a child will just go and put on any channel they want to watch, and they're going to watch, and they're going to practice whatever they see there.
My question is
another thing that they practice this sex, and because of if a young child, me and we are talking about sex, like we are laughing, he will think it's cool, let me go and try. So that's some of the challenges that influence that's some of the challenges and influence that a young child gets.
But may I ask you a question? What about the exposure to what they have? Because basically, you will never practice something that you are not exposed to, right? If you're exposed to drugs, you said there are high possibilities that you practice drugs. Now, when it comes to sex, obviously when you have like high exposure into sex, you want to try that regardless what the consequences are. But for instance, I can blame our government for child pornography because number one, at school, if you go at primary schools and check a grade 5-year-old life skills textbook, you will find pictures of vagina and penises there. Obviously, if you tell me as a young child that Kailani has a vagina and I have a penis, then at some point I would want to see what Kailani's private part looks like.
Are you actually saying that sex education shouldn't be allowed at that age?
At that age.
No, I think it should be allowed. I think it should be allowed because if I am a grade 5 learner, and at home there are like a lot of people renting, and most in our background homes, there are people renting at the back. I'm a grade 5 learner. I did not learn sexual education. I know nothing about sex. I know nothing about rape. I know nothing about sexual. And that person forces themselves onto me. I know nothing about sexual education. So to me, that's what I think because I don't know. He's older than me and I don't know anything about sexual education. But if I was taught in grade 5, I would know that this person is forcing themselves onto me. I said no. I never said yes. I can report it to my parents and I can report it to someone else because it's wrong.
But now, Kailani, if you clearly still get the bigger picture of what I'm talking about, it's easy to teach a child a certain person is not allowed to touch you in certain parts of the body, right? Now, if you're going to take a grade 5-year-old and teach a child about sex, what do you expect that child to do? Because if you are teaching a child about sex, you indirectly exposing the child into sex.
But you're also directly empowering that child, because knowledge is power at the end of the day.
Empowering in what terms?
Listen, Kanti. When someone is uninformed, we always see what happens. That person never becomes anything because they don't know anything. Okay. So tell me, a child, usually a grade 5 is a 10-year-old child, right? Okay. That child sees things because in our townships, things happen. So, do you think that they aren't going to practice that stuff when they sing it? They are going to practice it. They are still going to practice it even if they are learning it at school. It doesn't really matter, but education is important. You can't say they shouldn't teach them.
Can you tell me something? When you were small, didn't your parents tell you not to play with fire? And you asked them why, and they said you're going to pee in your bed, right? So when they tell you do not have sex, you're going to ask them why. And then when they tell you no, you're going to get pregnant, you're going to get STIs, you're going to get STDs. Of course you're going to want to try it and see if you're really going to get those things. And you don't get it, you try again. You don't get it, you try again until you do. And then you realize then, no, my parents were talking the truth. That's why I shouldn't do it. Understand? So it's
now you're trying to tell me that if you're telling that to a grade 5-year-old that you should not have sex because you're going to get pregnant, you're going to get all those kind of things, all those consequences. Now, if you say that if you tell a child not to do something actually, right? They want to try what you tell them not to do, right? So if you're telling them about sex, unsafe sex, so they basically going to try it, which is the risk we can't take with our fellow young growing South Africans.
I agree with you, Kanda. I'm just showing you the point of views of teaching and not teaching. If you didn't teach me about sexual education and you just told me don't have sex, this is going to happen, the first thing I'm going to do in my mindset is I want to have sex because I want to see what's going to happen. Don't play with fire, you're going to pee in the bed. I don't do that. Let me play with fire and see if I'm going to pee in the bed. It's a question of the mind.
What values have they been taught at home? What have their parents said? Do they have any morals? What are their morals? So you actually see amongst friends, right? We are friends. And then you say, I must do something. What do I do? Do I actually do it because you're doing it? Or do I do it because I know this is what I'm able to do in contact with my morals? So really, you can't really base anything on the education.
Yeah, on that point of it. Like, it's just an example saying, me and Ayaka are friends, right? I stay at home most of the time because my parents locked me in. They told me, come back at 3 o'clock, be in the house, cook, do this. Ayaka's parents are not the same as my parents. They let her go out and stuff like that. So when it's on the weekends and me and Ayaka meet, right? And then Ayaka's going to tell me, no, I had sex with this guy, we had this and that, and then they're going to tell me all this things, blah, blah, blah. As a kid that stays at home, yes, I have morals, yes, I have values and everything, but as I talked to Ayaka, she did that, talked to Melissa, she did that, talked to Nasissa, Kanti, Theo, and all of them, and I'm the only one left out.
Peer pressure.
What's the first thing that's going to come to my mind? I mean, like, I also want to do it. I also want to be in the conversation. When they talk about it, I'm going to be like, yeah, I also did it, and stuff like that. I also want to be in the conversation. So,
but ma'am, like, my question is, if we have like, if you say that like it's suitable for children to be thought about sex, like, since like now our children are being thought about sex at the early ages of grade 5, right? Now, why are we having like an increase in teenage pregnancy? Because like if you're saying like if teaching them at that early age is it's a positive thing to do, then why are we having repeats of increasing teenage pregnancy? I think the reason why we're having a repeat on this teenage pregnancy increasing in South Africa, because even though how much you would teach them, how much you would tell them the consequences are, they will keep on doing it. But if you're preventing them from knowing those kind of things, like for that exposure of having sex, of knowing how a sex of an opposite gender looks like, then I think like that's where teenage pregnancy would start dropping, because it's not like when you're telling a child about sex, it's not like telling them how to fight or why should you fight or why should you fight. It's a more sensitive issue whereby children start off being uncomfortable, because it's not. Can I ask you a question? Is it easy when your mother is telling you about sex?
It's not.
Would you want to engage in a conversation with them?
We wouldn't. No.
So now tell me, if your mother is telling you something that you feel uncomfortable, would you take that advice?
Usually we don't.
Exactly my point. Now, why having those conversations with young children?
Okay, say we put this as in, we take a group, as in our age group, okay, and we talk to a grade 7 learner, say for example. Do you think they will listen to us?
Most probably.
Exactly. So why can't we practice that? Instead of taking, listen to this, take your mother. Okay, so we have a talk at the whole, the Minister of Health comes and they talk to us about, well, you must practice safe sex and this and this and this and this. Usually we don't even listen to our parents at home, right? Okay. So how are we going to listen to that person? So I actually think we should have a conversation amongst ourselves. Talk, the difference mustn't be too huge. There must be like 18-year-olds speak to 16-year-olds. Or maybe they wouldn't really listen, say 15-year-olds. Just try to find that balance, because that's why we really need a balance, for someone to talk to us who is amongst the same age group, someone who feel is going through the same thing.
I can have you, okay, just a small point. I'm not debating any of you, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm not saying you're right, I'm not saying anything. But at the point where you say our parents talk about sex, do you understand that as blacks, most black people, most black parents, our parents never actually talk to us about sex. But the only thing they tell us when they see, I don't know how they see it, but they'll see you if you're having sex, and the only thing they'll tell you, go to the clinic, have a needle stuck into your butt. It's what's called contraception. yeah, accept it. They're gonna tell you that. And they're gonna tell you all things. It's like, to me, I feel that our parents, at that point, when they do see you, I think they should sit down to you, talk to you, but they're not gonna do that. They're gonna just tell you, go to the clinic. That's just like telling your child, go and have sex. Go and sleep with someone.
My dream is to live in a better South Africa. My dream is to be a better person and to actually help with the growth of my country.
My dream is to be where there will be a safe space for everyone to be comfortable with their bodies. Yeah.
My dream is to live in a dignified South Africa, where like everyone knows their values, abilities, and their responsibilities as well as their duty.
My dream is to change South Africa into a better place.
My dream is to live in better South Africa, and South Africa, South Africa can be united.
My dream is to use my knowledge to help other people know what I know and to like promote good things in South Africa.
Z, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.